right, thank you for staying with Daybreak here just in time for State of the Nation. My guests are with me here, Honorable Rosa Buyu, Kisumu West Member of Parliament, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, Mbeere North Member of Parliament, and Willis Etieno, Deputy Party Leader, Safina. Thank you all for making time. We'd like to hear from you, Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. We'll sample some of your views in just a bit. Amid all the drama and all the noise, there's talk of political realignments in 2027. The former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, had this to say.
Sisi hatumwelewi Raila Odinga, na nimesema juzi nilikuwa na interview. Hatujui vile anataka. Na tunangojea atoe msimamo ndio tujue vile tutakaa na yeye. Kama ataamua kuchafua legacy yake ya miaka hii yote na kuunga Rais William Ruto mkono, hiyo ni haki yake. Na sisi hatuwezi mzuia. Lakini hiyo haina shida yoyote. Kwa sababu zile kura alikuwa nazo, ndani yake iko kura mingi sana ya Kalonzo Musyoka. Hiyo itakuwa imeondoka. Pale Kisii imeondoka. Pale kwa Mlima alikuwa na kura 1.1 imeondoka. Kwa hivyo hakuna kitu kubwa sana atapelekea Rais William Ruto. Number 2, huyu Rais William Ruto amewachwa na kila mtu. Kanisa ambaye ziliunga yeye mkono zimemuondokea. Watu ya Mlima tuliunga yeye mkono 3.5 million tumeondoka. Watu wako na payslip. Hao wafanyikazi wote wakiwemo nyinyi wanalalamika sana. Kila mtu ya payslip na payslip holders ni karibu 3.5 million wamemuondokea rais. Hii watoto wetu wa Gen Z ambayo watachukua kura karibu 9 million hawako na yeye.
Willis, does the former Deputy President have a point in his analysis?
You know, my main issue with Rigathi Gachagua is that his mind thinks of Kenyans along tribes. Even look at how he's analyzing our politics. That Wabulema, Wakamba, Wakisi. I mean, at this level of national discussion, we should be discussing the issues affecting Kenyans. The problems that we have today have been caused by these traditional politicians that keep discussing us and putting us in tribal cocoons. So I don't see any point in what Rigathi Gachagua is saying, but perpetuating that which the Kenyan people rejected on the 25th of June, 2025. And let's put Rigathi Gachagua in perspective. If Rigathi Gachagua truly believed that William Ruto is bad, as he says, I believe he should withdraw his cases and resign from that office of Deputy President. He is fighting so hard to go back to become William Ruto's deputy. And yet on this other end, he's telling us that William Ruto is bad. I mean, let's be honest to the people of Kenya, and we need to stop this issue of gaslighting Kenyans on a normal day. It seems that is the common balance in our politics. Tell them convenient life for today to achieve today's tasks, and then tomorrow you tell them new life. There's something that my colleague, my friend Mheshimiwa Ruku said that I want to put in perspective also. He's giving us examples of shift share working. And he's giving us examples of people in Meru. This Mheshimiwa works here in Parliament. Can he come here and tell us that Mheshimiwa so-and-so was sick, was admitted at this public facility, and shift share worked for him? I am getting tired of every time members of Parliament come to this show. None of them has ever given us an example of a member of Parliament who fell ill, went to a hospital, public hospital, and shift share worked for them. It cannot be that you want to measure this shift share using parameters and using persons that are not yourselves. When you are also Kenyans, you also fall sick. Why not start with yourself and say, my colleague who is now admitted, my colleague who had a cold is here, we use shift share, he's okay, it is working. Shift share is not working, and you should not tell us about those two people. You should start by telling us about baby Ariana. That young baby who died, a bill of 1.8 million, shift share only paid 23,000 Kenya shillings. And you're telling us this system is working? It's not working. And we should stop these convenient lies to the people of Kenya. And going back to the political realignments, I want to say this. It is time that Kenyans have an honest conversation as to what they want. And what they want in terms of leadership. When you are talking coalition building, when you are talking of partners, the conversation should not be about which person gets what position. It should be about what are the issues that affect our people. Are we all in agreement that we are committing as a team to work together to address this issue? And that is what we sell to the people of Kenya. As a Safina party, we are very clear. Ours is an economic liberation. How do we change? And we have our policies, what we believe can turn over this economy. Yeah. So that we are not going to say that, because sometimes people ask us, why are you not talking to other political parties? Why are you not talking with other leaders? But to talk about what? If it is about sharing positions, it's not worth it. It should be about how are we going to reduce our odious debt. And in this political establishment, all these people who have traversed our politics for the last 30 years, they've at one point or another sat in cabinet or parliament and passed these illegal borrowings, these illegal debts, money that people took in the names of the people of Kenya, and didn't come into Kenya, didn't fund any project. As Safina will say, any illegal debt, money that was taken and didn't come into Kenya, we will not pay it. And we don't want anybody who will be holding us back, telling us that, you know, I received some, so don't push it too hard, you're going to affect my interests. So a political conversation should be about how to make the lives of the people better.
Should Raila Odinga work with President William Ruto?
That's a good question. That should he work with William Ruto? Work on what? And when Mheshimiwa Rosa says that they are trying to find solutions, they're going to talk, I said the first agenda item should be compensation, accountability for the deaths. You don't need to join government to have that conversation. You simply need to say, we are all in agreement that 70 of our young people were killed last year. 88 of our young people were killed during the Azimio's own demonstrations. Over 100 were killed in 2017, 2018, including Baby Pendo, whom I represent in court, were killed. Let us give them compensation, their families, and let us hold accountable the policemen who killed them. You do not need to form any political coalition or to join Ruto's government to have that kind of conversation. Okay. So that when you hear them say that we are going in there to talk, I believe some of these issues can be addressed without joining a government. But once these things are addressed, these Mwananchi issues are addressed, then you can say it is now working. Can we broaden it and say now we can work up politically, work together? Okay. And I also want to just mention one other thing that Mheshimiwa Rosa said. She did say that there are global challenges. So the global economy itself is a problem. And so we should not be hard on William Ruto.
No.
Did the global economy cause Shifsha?
No.
It is William Ruto who brought Shifsha. Did the global economy kill our Gen Zs? It did not. It is the same William Ruto's government that killed our young people. Did the global economy come up with the university funding model? NHIF was here before. We had help that was working before. So these are problems which William Ruto's administration causes every day. Okay. Then when they are asked, they say it's global economy, it's Janjaweed, it is DRC, M23. Face the reality. The incompetence of this regime is unbelievable.
Okay, Rosa.
Should I take a deep breath?
Yeah.
Trevor, there's too much dishonesty amongst politicians, beginning with my dear friend Willis. It's myopic to say that politicians or everybody in this country must go to public hospitals or public institutions. We know that that doesn't happen, and even he, Willis, does not go to any public institution when he falls sick. So that is neither here nor there. And I think what Shah Chief was trying to do is to accept the fact that we have different categories in this country. Some can afford to go to private hospitals, others will only go to public hospitals. And so it was trying to ensure that even for those who go to public institutions, they do get good health care that would answer to their needs. That's what this Shah Chief was intending to do. It is not happening 100% the way it was supposed to happen, and that's why I say it's work in progress, and people must sit around that table again and find ways and means of making this Shah Chief work for the benefit of our people. I also want to say that, heck, we as ODM have stood out and said that people who lost their lives during the demonstrations must be compensated. We've got all the documentation of who and who died where, and and who killed by who, and how much they should be compensated. ODM does not have the power to compensate these people. That is one of the key issues that is being tackled by ODM with the government, because it is the government that can compensate these people. I tell you, me as Rosa and other members of parliament went out and saw, especially in the referral hospital in Kisumu, there were 31 bodies lying there of young men shot from the back, killed. And we insist that anybody who died during those demonstrations must be compensated. Obviously, Willis is talking from the outside, so he can say anything that he wants. But I know that there are talks about compensation, and one of the things that ODM is sticking to is there must be compensation. abductions must stop. We must sort out this issue of our health institutions, and we must sort out these issues of education. When you say we've just joined government to look for positions, which positions? Which positions are those? When you come to Rigiji, I get a bit upset when I listen to Rigiji. You're talking about leaders who's taken the country on the path of campaigns, elections, and on the path of just looking for positions. I think Rigiji has forgotten that we live in Kenya, and just the other day he was the deputy president, and he, with the president, were charged with the responsibility to make sure that Kenya works and works for the people. But now he's forgotten all those things, and all he's focusing on is how he can be president or how he can make sure that President Ruto does not do his second term. When you listen to what he's saying, surely it's like all Luos only have one mind. All Kalenjins have one mind. The Kambas only have one mind. The Mrima people only have one mind. And you just have to turn the tap and they will all think in a certain direction. That is not true. If that was true, you'd not have had 1 million people from Mrima voting for Mheshimiwa Raila in the last general election. People have the ability to think. People have the ability to analyze. For example, if, for example, today we were in a coalition with Rigiji's party, and I was told to vote for Rigiji, I would not vote for him, despite the fact that my community has decided to go that way. Why wouldn't I vote for him? I will remember so many bad things that he's done, and I will decide that he is not good for this country. I will remember that he tried to divide this country along the lines of shareholders and non-shareholders. I will remember what he said about Mheshimiwa Raila when Raila was on the ballot to become the president of this country. And in fact, they chose the path of abusing and insulting the former president, who was one of their sons, just because he'd chosen the path of supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. What has changed about this Raila? I'm sorry that I'm going to use this language on this set. We were told that Raila was not circumcised, and therefore he was a child and could not be given the authority to run this country. I want to ask Rigiji, what has changed? Why are they seeking Raila now? I think the situation is still the same. Okay. Has he now suddenly become a man who can rule this country? So let us deal with issues that are affecting this country, and let us sort those issues, because people need help in so many segments.
But should Raila Odinga or ODM work with President William Ruto?
I think President William Ruto is the president of this country and the head of the government right now. And if you want to sort out issues, you must speak to that government. And like I said before, we've tried so many parts. We've gone on the streets with placards. We've gone on the streets with sufurias. We've gone on this and ended up just dying and burying many of our children. So we as ODM are going to try this other path and see if it will work better than us being out on the streets. And that is what we are doing now. Okay. Not looking for those positions, but taking a different path in trying to sort out solutions of this country.
Okay. Ruku?
NHIF owes private hospitals billions of Kenya shilling. That's a fact. And when my brother says NHIF was working, I wonder whether he knows the total amount of money which private hospitals are owed by NHIF, and the number of Kenyans who were getting support from NHIF when they get sick, and the delays which were there for someone to be treated through NHIF. You pay today, you wait for 3 months. And even then, you have to get several approvals. So the truth of the matter is that Taifa Care, or SHA, is in the process of cleaning up our healthcare system. And this is something which must be done because healthcare is a very critical sector for each and every household in the Republic of Kenya.
But there are a lot of...
We have to get it right. It is true there are a lot of complaints, but I think there are 3 things which we must do as members of parliament in the budget 2025-26. One is we have to put additional funds for primary health care fund, we must ensure there is enough resources in that fund. Two, also we have to ensure there is enough resources within emergency, chronic and critical illness fund, which at the moment there is no resources, there is no funds as far as that fund is concerned. These are two main funds which we have to allocate money. Then also you have to allocate money to pay NHIF bills. Because it is true, there are money we owe several health centers or health facilities across the Republic of Kenya. Some of these facilities, we owe them money which they did not offer services. You'll find that they have been having several health centers or health facilities doing surgeries, but when you go there are no surgery equipment, there's no theater. But this facility is claiming money from NHIF, having performed an operation which they never did. So the corruption within NHIF was stinging to our essence.
Okay.
So it's high time we get it right.
Yeah.
We can't retreat. But I'm sure the people in the ministry, the advisors which the president has put in place as far as this sector is concerned, they have to do their work. They have to do their work. And we don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
We have 2.5 years left. And the president will be facing Kenyans come 2027 to tell them whether he did what is right as far as the health care is concerned.
And Rigathi Gachagua says that if Raila Amolo Odinga joins the president, they will lose quite a number of voting blocks. Does he have a point?
Rigathi Gachagua is a guy who is hoping that he can revive his chances of being a national politician. And let me tell you, I come from the region, Mount Kenya region, and where most of Kenyans think that things have gone south as far as those who are not with Rigathi Gachagua is concerned. That is wrong, completely wrong. Mount Kenya region people want to see projects being implemented, want to see their roads done, want to see water, want to see electricity. I know the president will be visiting the region in the coming days, and it's about projects which have stalled in the past regime, getting them done. Mau roads already at the moment are getting done, and other priority projects which we have enumerated to the government for implementation. Yeah. And once that is done, Rigathi Gachagua and his team would not find anywhere to sit pretty within the Mount Kenya region. And also it is extremely wrong to continue championing ethnic politics when Kenyans are looking at the issue-based politics. William Ruto was not able to cut across the Kenyan political terrain because he championed his region, Rift Valley, or his Kalenjin nation. No. He talked the language of Kenyans. Rigathi Gachagua has completely been unable to talk the language of Kenyans. Every now and then he keeps on repeating his region, his Mount Kenya region. Does it mean that we who have been elected by the people from Mount Kenya region, we really don't understand the need of the people, and we are with these people on a day-to-day basis? Tomorrow, from tomorrow all the way to Saturday, I will be with my people of Better North.
Okay.
And this has been the case every single week. Yeah. So the issue of tribal, caging people from the tribal rances or tribal cocoon, that is completely wrong. It is even contradicts Article 10 of our Constitution, and these are some of the reasons why we impeached Rigathi Gachagua. Actually, every single day Rigathi Gachagua talks, vindicates the members of parliament who impeached him. Vindicate the senators who impeached him.
He says you are all brown.
He's unfit. He's unfit.
Did you receive any money?
No, we never received any money. We did our constitutional mandate as far as Article 145, 149, and 150 of our Constitution are concerned, because he's completely unfit to hold any public office.
Okay.
And by the way, having been impeached by the Parliament, Rigathi Gachagua will not hold any public office, from even the chairman of the Roko cattle dip. He can't hold any public office. And he's taking people nowhere.
The case is in court now, so we'll still wait for it and see it.
It is the same court which took his case through all the processes, so that the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya can come to KICC and swear in the current Deputy President, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki.
Willis, you talked about issues, and let me play for you a soundbite from Raila Odinga during his consultative meetings in Siaya. He spoke yesterday regards to the meetings that he's been having to chart our way forward. Listen.
You are a Kenyan first before you become a member of these other ethnic groups. This is what is most important. So we are at a stage where we want to ensure that we implement our constitution, which constitution has been rated as one of the best in the world. Kenya. We want to ensure that all the provisions of our constitution are fully implemented. We want to take bad governance to the museum. We don't want to see our youth being abducted and then taken to some unknown places, tortured and some of them killed. That must be something of the past. We don't want to see corruption reigning in our country. That Kenya is rated as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. We will fight corruption and finish corruption in our country. We don't want the members of parliament to usurp the role of the executive. That parliament represent the people, legislate, and oversight.
And I am certain that we are going to have a structured relationship as we engage with other parties, including people in government or outside government.
Willis, are you convinced that it's about the issues and not the people?
It's not. It's not. I've been in the ODM space before, and we did come up with a term called irreducible minimums. Even as they are going to talk, when ODM was negotiating, has been negotiating political power, they've been known to come out with what they call the irreducible minimums when it comes to negotiating power. In this particular instance, I've simply said the issues that Mwananchi are facing. Can ODM, and I challenge them, come up with their irreducible minimums for any talks with William Ruto? And for me, top of the list of any irreducible minimum should be accountability for those who were killed last year, those who were killed in 2023, and those who were killed in 2017, 2018. Accountability to make sure those policemen are brought to court. Number two, an irreducible minimum should be that the families of the Gen Zs, the families of the Maandamano victims of 2023, the families of the victims of 2017, 2018 are compensated as irreducible minimum, what we call talks before the talks. That before we come to the room to talk to you, we want to see that you've paid, compensated these families. Before we come to the table to talk to you, we want to see the policemen who are responsible for these killings are in court. Otherwise, they will get into the room, and the first order of business will be the share positions. And I can tell you, let's be frank to the people of Kenya. In less than 2 weeks, you are going to see more expanded government with ODM members. Then they tell you, we will sort it when we are inside. They never sort it. We've been here before, since 2007. 2017, there was handshake, 2018. The victims never got compensation. There was no accountability for the killings. So even this one, I can assure you, in less than 2 weeks, they are going to join government. So if ODM means what they are saying, they must be truthful to the people of Kenya and their long-suffering members and those who bore the brunt of the atrocities committed by the state.
So, so as Safina Party, do you want to go this alone? Because we know the realities of the Kenyan political system. You will need allies.
Let me explain to you, Trevor. The mistake that people make is this. Yeah. I'll rather not win a position than form a coalition, make a deal with the devil. just so that I can get a position. I am very comfortable sitting in this studio and educating the people of Kenya on the issue that they need to focus on. It is not a do and die for me to become a deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. What is a do and die for me is to make sure that baby Pendo, that 6-month baby who was beaten to death on her head, Rosa here was the Kisumu women rep at the time, beaten to death by a policeman on her baby coat in the arms of her mother, gets justice. That to me is do or die. But I am not going to say for political convenience, you sacrifice principles, you sacrifice beliefs, you sacrifice the interest of the people just so that you get a position in power. No, that we must say no to it. Okay. And let me just conclude by saying this. It is well within their right, by the way, it is well within any political coalition to do what they are doing. The problem is to lie to the people of Kenya. And the worst problem is for the Kenyan people to be lied to and believe them. Okay. If they believe that what is needed in this country are positions for leaders, then so be it. I have no problem with it. Okay. But I'm simply standing on the side of what I call alternative facts that wants a society that believes in a country that works for its people and not for its leaders.
Okay. Rosa, how do you justify supporting a government that stands for the very same things you stand against? Because the former Prime Minister just mentioned constitution implementation, bad governance to the museum, abductions, corruptions, MPs to be representatives of the people. Many critics say that is exactly what the government is being accused of. So how then do you...
Trevor, first of all, let me say this. Safina Party is a party, a political party like the ODM party. Willis is the deputy party leader of Safina, and is very eloquently listed what he thinks or what he hopes would be, what did you call it?
Like he says.
What did he say?
The issues and the do or die.
Yes. So what is Safina Party doing about all those? Waiting for ODM to sort it out?
We are in court on Baby Pendo, representing the people. Just an example. Okay.
I just want to say, what is Safina Party doing about all those things that he so eloquently enumerates? Or is it a party that's waiting for ODM to do all that for them? Then it's not worth being a party. Because it's a political party, if they think ODM is doing this or another party is not doing what they hope should be done, then they take the mantle and run with it. But to sit as a deputy party leader of Safina and watch ODM and only talk about what he thinks ODM should do, what are they a political party for? You've just asked me a question that how would we sit in bed with Kenya Kwanza or KK, given that the things they're doing are in total contradiction of what we stand for. And I'll go back to what I've said. ODM still stands for what it always stood for: social justice, social democracy, and all the things that would make the lives of the people better. What ODM, and I'm not speaking for Right Honorable Raila, but I'm saying that the path that I think ODM is taking is a different path from what ODM has been on. Because that other path has not worked to change the lives of the, to change things to make lives of the people better. And so what ODM is saying, we are still going to that table with all these things we've always stood for, except that now we want to talk and to insist that they must be done, as opposed to going out on the streets and shouting about them, because that never worked. It ended up in deaths. So what we are doing is going with this minimum, irreducible minimum that we always had, and going to demand that they must be sorted out, but not on the streets, but round a table. Okay. And I think that we are going to see a big difference. Okay. We will see a big difference because, like my friend Willis has said, the government is the government charged with this mandate. But we can only talk and agitate and ensure that they go the way that the people want them to go, especially in terms of what affects the people. Okay. So ODM is talking to this government as opposed to being out on the streets and insisting that this government must address abductions, this government must address corruption, this government must address issues that are bedeviling SHA, this government must address issues that are bedeviling university funding, and the only difference is now we are talking as opposed to being on the streets.
Okay. And this is the confusion that many people have.
Why is there
Is ODM working with government or not? This is the confusion.
ODM is talking with government to ensure that the lives or the things that the Kenyans need addressed will be addressed.
So you're not in government?
That is what ODM is. But you know that some of our members are in government and are ministers, isn't it? Yeah. But they are ministers in that government to help the government sort out the issues that are affecting Kenyans. Okay. Yes.
All right, so let me bring in Ruku on this. Ruku, there's some questions that have been sent for here for you. First of all, the question is, does Honorable Ruku believe that the president has to visit a region for development to be there? And why was Ruku denied UDA ticket in the last general elections? Also, Father says, what development project has Mbere not received since he championed the removal of Gachagua?
That's a good question. I was not denied the UDA ticket. I'm not a member of UDA. I'm a member of Democratic Party by choice. And I will remain so as a member of Democratic Party. Secondly, yes, it's not a must president visit region for there to be government project. But remember, government is formed politically. He went around the country talking to Kenyans on what he would do to change the lives of Kenyans, and that's why he was voted. Government all over the world are formed politically. Kenyan government is a political government. And William Ruto has a responsibility to go around the country giving the scorecard where he is at the moment as far as fulfilling the promises he made to the people of the Republic of Kenya. He can't do that when he's sitting at State House. He has to go around the Republic, and he can work from any corner of this country. Actually, we have seen cabinet sitting even in Northeastern, in Lake region, in Western. We want to see soon cabinet sitting from the Mount Kenya region. We have a very nice state road in Sagana where the president will work from in the coming days in the month of March. So it's part of interaction with the Kenyans because it's extremely important for him to check how the true feeling of Kenyans are. Because if you look at the number of Kenyans who are on social media, the percentage is very small. But the majority of Kenyans in our rural areas want to hear the president himself. Because probably most of them, they don't have the facilities which we have to check. And this is a fact. Okay. Trevor, you know, I'm always in the villages, and I know what you might think that everybody owns a smartphone, which is not true. Okay. So it's extremely critical for the president to visit a region, talk to the people, listen to the needs of the Kenyans. Yeah. Also, the centrality of our constitution is public participation. Yeah. There are very many ways of conducting public participation. One of them is exactly what the president is doing. Public participation is extremely critical. Okay. It is at the center of our constitution. What was the other question?
There was a question about what development project has Mbere not received since you championed the removal of Gachagua?
We have several projects. We have irrigation project which is going on, 2 of them at a cost of 430 million Kenyan shillings.
You want to say that is
not because we removed Gachagua. Removal of Gachagua has nothing to do with getting a project. Removal of Gachagua has to do with getting it right as far as our constitution requirements are concerned. We can't have someone who wakes up to champion ethnic chauvinism every single day, and he holds an office of honor, one of the highest office in the Republic of Kenya, which is stupid that he should be able to hold that office with decorum and respect. Okay. The office, because the office of the people of the Republic of Kenya. Right. Someone who goes to Western region and says, I bring the greeting from the people of Mountain. You are the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, okay, not deputy president of a certain region. Someone who steals, you know, who stole even money belonging to his late brother, and disinheriting.
Those are the allegations that were tabled in Parliament.
They were tabled in Parliament. There was proof, okay, and that's why we we went by them because there was proof beyond any reasonable doubt that he did. This is what he did.
All right.
Okay, so a pharaoh who is a pharaoh. It's not about it's not about development.
Okay.
We beach. And in any case, when Muguka was being fought across the country, did we hear Rigathi Gachagua talking about Muguka? And Muguka is one of my the only economic activity for my people whom I represent.
Right.
Did we hear Rigathi Gachagua championing about it?
All right.
Today, we have gotten higher prices.
Okay.
The government has increases the prices of Mera and Muguka.
All right. Bring back Willis. So, Willis, there was a question that was asked by Rosa that what are you doing as a party?
That's a very good question.
As Safina?
As Safina Party, I want to start from where Rosa left.
Yeah.
Baby Pendo, 6 months old baby, 6 months, killed in her baby coat in the arms of her mother in Rosa Buyu's own constituency then in Kisumu, Nyalenda Estate. More than 60 people were killed in Kisumu, Nyawita, Obunga, Nyalenda, Kondele, Nyamasaria. Policemen who are responsible, the command responsibility of those units, have been proposed to be charged. I go to court every week. Even yesterday I was in court championing for justice for Baby Pendo and those victims of crimes against humanity who come from our own constituency. Rosa Buyu has never made even a single attempt to appear in court.
Ouch.
She may not even be aware that we are demanding for accountability, that these policemen who killed need to answer to the atrocities they committed against the people of Kisumu. Those are our own constituents. That is what Safina Party is doing. I've been at it since 2022, to date. Yesterday was the last day I was in court. I'm back in court again next week on 3rd. I'm also back in court on the same Baby Pendo on the 21st of March. That is what Safina Party is doing. In regard to victims of sexual violence, people from Kisumu who are killed, people who are raped, people who are forcefully circumcised in Naivasha, in Kisumu, in Eldoret, Langas, here in Nairobi, Mathare, Kibra, and from all communities, people from Kisii. I am in court with them, and we won the first leg of the case. They are all supposed to be given compensation. They got their order on the 10th of December 2020. To date, I am fighting this same administration to pay these victims their compensation. They have not. They are not even aware that these are now the carcass of wounds of the 2007-2008 debacle. In fact, the protagonists at that time was Raila Odinga and William Ruto and Gibaki on different sides. I am the one, if she needs to know, I am what we call the cleanup crew for the mess that the political class leads to give the people of Kenya. Because I am always in court trying to clean their mess. My party leader, Jimmy Wanjigi himself, and they know it, when Gen Z were fighting for the better country, Jimmy Wanjigi was leading from the front. He was offering support in whatever means that was needed. And the culmination of that was they sent policemen to hold siege in his home for 2 days, 2 nights, on the 8th of August. So you cannot tell us, the Safina Party, that we are lamenting on TV. If there is any party that is working at the grassroots, in fact, Mheshimiwa, I'll assure you, next time go to Kisumu, go to Mama Safi, ask them what Safina Party is doing in Kisumu, and you'll be shocked. Okay. We don't need a physical building to be doing things that better the people of Kenya. Okay. And we also don't need to stand on a rooftop to announce it and to shout it. I'm only saying it today because she has challenged me. What is Safina doing? Now you know.
Okay.
Trevor, I'm so happy. My friend Willis was very controlled and measured all the time he was speaking until I challenged him that as the deputy party leader of Safina, what are you doing as a political party? Or you are on the side watching what ODM is doing. When we talk about Baby Pendo, the cases for Baby Pendo started way back in Kisumu. Not once did I miss going to court. When you talk about people going to court for compensation for victims, I think what you're doing could be a belated reaction to what ODM has been doing. Otienda Molo has been on the forefront, and we filed cases with full lists of the victims the people who were maimed, the people who died, and we are also in court looking for compensation for those people. But what amazes me is that a party which prides itself as being a political party would just sit and watch what another political party is doing so that they can tell that political party that this is exactly how you're supposed to behave. And I want to challenge my friend. If you feel that ODM has failed in any area, pick the mantle. Let us see you go to the streets if you can't come to the talks. Let us see you change things, because we've been there, we've been beaten there, we've won the T-shirt, and we've decided to try another different path. And we know that this path is going to work. Trevor, I want to tell you that sometimes I look at Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and I can't believe that I just don't understand what sort of a person he is. It's magnanimous for somebody who's been to an election with another and come so close to winning and did not win for whatever reasons, to agree to come and sit down and talk to that person for the benefit of this country. It would be very easy for Raila Amolo Odinga to join Wamunyoro and say, let us do this. That's the easiest thing to do. But where would that leave the country? But instead, Raila swallows his pride, he swallows his disappointment, and looks at the country and says, this is the best way to deal with this issue, so that we still have a country that's running, as opposed to what Wamunyoro or what Rigiji is doing, or what Safina would like us to do, to go to the opposite side and agitate, because where would that leave the country? Okay. So for me, I think if the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga decided to talk to this government, making sure that our irreducible minimum is effected, that would still leave Kenya standing as a country. And for me, I take my hats off for Raila, because that is not an easy thing to do. It is not easy. But for the benefit of this country, for the benefit of Kenyans, and for the years and the work and the sacrifices he's put, he's decided to swallow everything and make sure that Kenya still stands as a country. Okay. And I think that is commendable.
All right. There's a lot of feedback coming through before I come to you, Ruku. Let's bring that up and see what you're saying online at Trevor at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak, and then we'll talk about what does the country need now at this point going forward, because there's a lot happening. Sir Nixon says the employee in the formal sector is really getting a raw deal from this government. You remit so much to SHA and get nothing in return. Or maybe there's a provision of reimbursement from SHA once a contributor pays out of pocket. Babu Michael says, I see both team leaders, KK and ODM, that is Ruto Raila, saying they're about to consult about their next political move. While everyone can see that they're already in an alliance, will those consultations give other directions other than this? Okay, and we'll ask that to the people in studio. Kimani Kenneth says, within 2 years, education and healthcare systems have been systematically destroyed. Unemployment is through the roof. We are sacrificing the future and stability of this nation just for political power. Okay. Frank says, a former DP now politically stranded, demanding that Rao to state his position is hypocrisy. Rao has been clear for decades. Gachagua should first decide if he's fighting for MTK, his personal ambitions, or just picking personal battles for attention. Mutisia says, I wonder why only people close to KK leaders are the ones only enjoying SHA services. Okay. Lillian Sioe says, how powerful is Baba Raila Amolo Odinga? How powerful is he that the likes of Rigathi Gachagua have to halt their political decisions waiting for Raila to decide which way to go? Baba will be the determining factor in the 2027 elections. Okay? Ruku, reaction to what the people are saying. How come, there was a question that was directed to you, that how come this SHA only works for people who are close to Kenya Kwanza?
No. SHA is working for everyone, not all Kenyans. Some of these comments we are getting, for instance, I can share messages which I received yesterday from a guy who went to Tenri to get treatment, and that 3,000 was paid by SHA. I can share another one who went to Kenyatta, and amount of money, about 8,000 was paid. The fact of the matter is some areas, for instance, when we are talking about emergency chronic and critical illness, you will not be able to get anything as far as SHA is concerned. But where it is working, let's say it is working. Where it's not working, also we say it's not working. And these people within Social Health Authority and the Ministry of Health have a huge responsibility to ensure where the system works. And the members of parliament also, this financial year, 2025-2026 budget, we have to allocate money for primary health care fund and for emergency chronic and critical illness fund, and also money to pay NHIF bills. This we have to do. If we don't do that, then you can be sure we'll continue complaining.
What is the way forward?
As far as someone has said, Papa, Raila Odinga is a statesman. He's one of the greatest politicians of our times. He's an extremely powerful politician in the Republic of Kenya, as it is today. He's the only individual who can call a meeting at Uhuru Park on Saturday, and so it will be full, and nobody will ask even a coin. Or the transport, even the public address system, Papa will not know where that public address system will come from. It carries the, the heartbeat of the Republic of Kenya politically.
Factor in 2027.
Sorry?
Is he the determining factor in 2027?
He is one of the biggest determining. He is not the only, but is one of the biggest determining factor of what is going to happen in 2027. There are only two individuals who can, give each other run for their money. One is Raila Odinga, the other one is William Samoei Ruto, as far as 2027 is concerned. When you are talking about others, it's just dreams, my brother. When you are talking about, I don't know, Rigathi Gachagua, you are talking about Matiang'i, you are talking about, I don't know, whoever, Kalonzo Musyoka, all those are dreams, and as you say, dreams are foreign, it's okay, but there are only two individuals who will give each other run for their money, and if they join together, it is a done deal. It's Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto.
Okay. Rosa, way forward now.
I think the way forward for all of us, regardless of which political party we are in, is to ensure that we still have a stable country and that Kenya still exists. And so a lot of steps or a lot of decisions that we are going to make as politicians, first and foremost, is to ensure that we do not show too much bitterness like Rigiji is showing. And I shudder to think of what the country would be like today if Mheshimiwa Raila exhibited such bitterness. We know that there have been moments or times, for example, in 2007, when he clearly won the election, but he was not declared the winner. But he did not show such bitterness. Bitterness can only lead to destruction of a country. And I want to urge Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, if Rigiji and the rest of Kenyans think that you are the one who holds the power to decide which way this country goes, the kingmaker, or to actually decide whether we go down or stay stable, I'd like to urge him that be a wise man like you've always been. Be the magnanimous man like you've always been, always sacrificing your feeling for the betterment of this country. And I think that that is what we must also do. Bitterness will not get us anywhere. We know that the country needs a lot of fixing, and when we come to the table to talk and to ensure that what we put on the table is achieved, we will have a better Kenya than what we'll have a Kenya that's still standing and better lives for our people. So I think that as a Secretary of Political Affairs for the ODM party, I would be in support of Mheshimiwa Raila coming to talk to the government to ensure that we have a better country.
Okay. I'll give you all a chance for closing remarks, but let me hear what Willis has to say about what Ruku mentioned a few moments ago. He says that the rest of you are all dreamers. It will all boil down to two people. Raila Odinga and President William Ruto.
William Ruto was impeached by the people of Kenya on the 25th of June, 2024. Even this Ruku was impeached by the people of Kenya on the 25th of June. In Kenya nowadays, our parliament is on X. We don't listen to these people. They're just occupying space. So they can say what they want. They are speaking to themselves. We don't care. Wait for the caning that we are going to give them when elections are called. The next election is going to be what is called fagia wote. We will chase all of them. Tutafukuza wote nyumbani. But they're entitled to their comfort. They can do what they want. But their date with destiny is already determined. They will leave. But I want to say this also. You know, one thing that I find a problem, one thing I find problematic with our traditional legacy politicians is this. These ones, legacy politicians. Today, Rigiji is in Kenya Kwanza. Ruku is Rigiji's #1 supporter. They are appearing with him everywhere, saying how the country is great, Azimio is wrong, what Rosa is asking of is wrong, Raila should go to Bondo, and they are clapping. The next day, Ruto says Rigiji is bad, Ruku is leading the onslaught to impeach Rigiji. The things when Rigiji was saying Watu ya Murema used to clap, Ruku used to clap. Now all of a sudden he's brought before him in parliament, impeach him, now we impeach him, you said it wrong what he said. Then Rosa's team, Azimio, now moves in to occupy the space Rigiji had left. And then all of a sudden, they even forget that in 2023, they were leading a people's demonstration demanding for good governance, playing the opposition role, which we are gladly playing by there at the moment. Now, they are not discussing those wrong things, those issues they were advocating against. Now, William Ruto is good. William Ruto's administration is good. We just need time. There are global challenges. Now we just need to be in the room and talk. Let me say this. And I said, there is nothing wrong with being in government. And there is equally nothing wrong with being in opposition. It is actually a threat to our democracy, the kind of conduct that I see now between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. Because our constitution envisages a governing party and an opposition. As a Safina, we've taken our position in the opposition comfortably. And we will never join with government. So what is this desire, that this quest that the opposition does not want to be opposition? Then why did we have it in the first place? We could have as well had a one-party state where people fight within that political party, we are all in government. But there is no need for me to say that opposition, you are campaigning as opposition, then you go and handshake, you go and do broad-based, you are now one. There's not. And then the final point to my sister. I'm glad you say that ODM has filed cases. At least I'm not aware of those cases that are pending in court. I am one of the leading lawyers on human rights litigation in this country and public law. And I attend those cases any time they come, and I've filed many of them. And now that they're in government, I'm only asking of the petitioners in petition 226 of 2013. Now that they're in government, those petitioners who were awarded compensation by the High Court, can Mbadi, the CS Finance, who is from ODM, broad-based expert, just pay these poor Kenyans their compensation? They've suffered from 208 victims of rape, victims of forced circumcision, victims, and some of them were committed by police officers again. They were raped by policemen. They were forcefully circumcised by policemen and civilians. I'm just asking you, now that you believe in this cause, just tell Mbadi, pay these victims of petition 226 of 2013, just pay them their compensation. And while at it, I'm also asking you to tell your people in government that Baby Pendo, who you said you believe in her cause, Baby Pendo, the policemen who are meant to be charged, the DPP Igonga has been coming to court and asking to defer the charges. Just tell your brothers in government, stop interfering with the plea taking in this case. Allow Baby Pendo and the victims of Kisumu to get their day in court, to have those policemen who are responsible for the police units prosecuted.
All right, Ruku, closing remarks. You ran out of time. Just a minute each.
We have many challenges this nation is facing, and one of them is education and health. I call upon those in these two ministries, the bureaucrats in the Ministry of Education and the bureaucrats in the Ministry of Health, to do all what it takes to get it right, because the very poor of our society, their children have to go to school, from primary school all the way to the university. Okay. The very poor in our society, they have to go to hospitals when they get sick. They have to believe in their government. And the bureaucrats of the civil service in these ministries they have to make it efficient, both in education and both in the health sector. Okay. They have to get it right. Ends of public service, Felix Kosgei, please check the Minister of Health, check the Ministry of Education.
Okay.
We have to do what is right for the people of the Republic.
All right, Rosa.
My friend has just said that now that ODM is in Rigaji's position, we are not in Rigaji's position, and it is clear that the Deputy President of this country is one Mheshimiwa Kindiki, and that's not an ODM member. ODM is not in opposition just for the sake of being in opposition, like Safina would like us to be. We are in opposition to protect the lives of Kenyans and to ensure that the lives of Kenyans are better in all segments. And what ODM is doing, and I hope it will do, is to try a different way that will work to ensure that this life of Kenyans is protected and to ensure that lives of Kenyans is much better than it actually is. And that is why ODM is focusing on bringing change to this SHA, to corruption, to abduction, and different issues, and the way the government has actually acted on those issues or responded to those issues. That is ODM. And I think opposition, just for opposition's sake, we've decided that we are going to make sure that these things are solved by talking and being on that table with this government.
All right. Willis, 1 minute.
You know, 1 minute, all I'll say is this. Let's be frank to the people of Kenya. If you're in opposition, be in opposition. If you want to be in government, be in government. And take responsibility, whichever side you take. But this thing that Raila used to call a dagaria, that we cannot tell whether you're in front or behind or back, let him not practice it. Let his political party not practice it.
Okay.
If you are joining government, just join government and work with it so that we can be able. You know, as it is now, I can't even attack my sister Rosa here hard because at one point she's opposition, another time she's government. So you don't even know where they sit. Take your position and let the people of Kenya now hold you accountable based on the position that you've taken.
Don't attack Rosa. Work for Kenyans. Don't attack Rosa.
Thank you so much for making time, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Rosa Buyi, Kisumu West Member of Parliament, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku Mbere, North Member of Parliament, and Willie Setino, Deputy Party Leader Safina. And thank you all for the feedback that you sent through. Coming up next is Cooking Tips. Let's close the State of the Nation at that point. My name is Trevor Mbija. See you again soon. Bye for now.